Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen. I'm Skaggy Bones, I'm your host, back with another video for you folks. And today I want to talk about 510's Hellcat Pro mountain bike shoe. Okay, so most of you guys that use 510s will know that they are owned by Adidas. So if you wear Adidas, they're absolutely awesome because you can get a shoe that's going to fit very similar. If you have Adidas, you kind of know what size you got, and you can just get a pair in the same size as what you'd wear in Adidas, or like one size up, simply because they're mountain bike shoes and they'll give a little bit looser fit in the toe box area. But you know that you're going to get the same great. Adidas, I think, makes some of the best sports shoes out there on the market, especially when you get into like flat sole type of shoes, where you're talking about like soccer shoes, for like what we call it, turf soccer shoes, like your Sambas, things like that. Also, they make some of the best soccer shoes on the market, bar none. Okay, so absolutely love Adidas products, and 510 is part of that. Now, when I first started really getting into mountain biking, I didn't really know about 510 shoes. Okay, so I use Calipus pedals. I use stuff like Shimano. I had some specialized flat foot or flat sole that used the cleat in the bottom. Didn't really know much about 510. Okay, until I actually started looking at them, and then started looking them up and started doing some research on them. Found that they're part of the Adidas. So if you go on the Adidas website, you can actually look under sports, look under cycling, and it'll bring up your 510 products. Also, they have, if you look up 510, it's going to be on the Adidas website, part of the Adidas website. Now, talk about these. These are, like I said, these are the Hellcat Pros. They do have a brand or a style called the Hellcat, which is a little bit less than this model, about $30 less when you actually look at the the total price of the shoe. I'm not going to go over price. If you're looking in this shoe, you kind of probably already know that a good riding shoe, like the same thing for skateboarding or any specialized sport, you're going to pay a decent amount of money. Okay, and I'm not saying like ridiculous amounts of money, like $400 or $500, but you're not going to just pay $50 and get a good shoe. Now, I will say this 510 does have shoes starting at $100 and going up to close to $200, and that's where this is $180 range. But I'm going to go over some of the features of this and talk about the difference between like the Hellcat and the Hellcat Pro, and why I think that this is a slightly better shoe. Now, one thing you'll notice, and where a lot of shoes get very expensive, is the closure system. This does not have a fancy closure system. If you notice, it is laces. So this is a laces only shoe. In fact, all their shoes are laces only. The only difference is they start off with laces only, and then they go to a laces retention system where they have Velcro. And most of the Velcro system is the Velcro comes all the way around here, goes through a buckle, and then comes back around and straps that way. And then the Pro shoes, all the Pro shoes have this different type of retention system where the buckle comes across, and then the Velcro comes through the buckle and then holds the buckle into place, and it's done at an angle and such that you pulling your foot back into the heel cup of the shoe. And even though this looks flat, unlike road shoes or anything like that, it does have a very stiff heel cup area, and it's actually rounded on the inside. It's very hard to see, but the 510 shoes are made out of this really thick plush, I want to say pleather. It's all man-made materials, but it's this very thick, almost reminiscent of an old school tennis shoe. Okay, something like an old school trainer or an old school a pair of Air Jordans that are low tops. That's what this is very reminiscent of shoe-wise. Okay, and it goes back to something very similar style like Adidas used to make years and years ago when basketball high tops were fairly new back in the 80s, and that's kind of the style it kind of reminds you of. Now, the difference, what you're going to get that you're not going to get from a normal trainer, is their stealth sole. Okay, so as you can see, they have these. By the way, these soles are not great if you want to walk on rocks and some crazy terrain. Also, they're not going to have, they're not necessarily made for climbing around in the mud and things like that. If you want those type of shoes, you're going to have to get more of a cross country type of shoe that has where you can have screwed in lugs. This is designed for going downhill, so it's designed for only having your feet on the pedals, okay? And it's designed, since a lot of downhill clipped-in pedals, in fact all downhill clipped-in pedals have a very large platform, it's designed that you still get purchase here on the outside and the inside of the shoe, no matter where you have your cleat. So on the Kring Brother mallets that I have, that's what I use these with for enduro. This I get a little bit better purchase, and then this is going to be a lot more comfortable than riding in some carbon fiber shoe that's extremely stiff. This is a stiff sole, by the way. It is extremely stiff, but the cool thing is I can still jump off the bike and walk if I have to. And what you have to realize is when you are riding free ride or downhill or enduro, you're going to get off your bike from time to time to look at the trail to see which path you want to take or what line you want to take as you're riding. So the nice thing is with these, at least you can jump off the bike. You're not going to be clopping around on some very specific type of shoe. You do have a nice flat bottom, which is going to give you some traction. Okay, like I said, I wouldn't be running around with these in really heavy rocky areas where I'm going to be on wet rocks and things like that. These aren't going to provide great traction because the sole is extremely hard, very reminiscent of, like, I don't want to say a snow tire, but a tire that it is. It's kind of like a big truck tire that's kind of flattened out and doesn't have big treads on it. So that's kind of what it's reminiscent of. Very stiff rubber sole here. If you notice, as you're coming up towards the top, it has almost the same rubber right here. Makes it the toe very stiff so that if you hit something or if your foot gets caught on something, it's not a steel toe, but this thing is extremely tough in the top, especially around the big toe area, where it provides a lot of extra rubber. This is all heavy rubber, the same rubber that's on the bottom of the sole, just not as thick, and it provides protection so that your shoe won't get flattened out. Like right here, I can push all the way down. Here I can't. It's extremely tough, so if something was to fall on your foot or something like that, you're not going to crush your toes and hurt your toes. Okay, so great support in the shoe. If you go around here, the rubber is a very thick, or sorry, by the way, the rubber comes all the way around. It goes from here all the way around. It becomes thicker up here. It's thinner on the sides, and this is to prevent from scuffs and stuff and from tearing up the normal material of the shoe, the leatherette type of material of the shoe. Okay, and even the leatherette has a texture of almost like I would say almost like a snake skin. It's very rough in through here, so that brambles and stickers and the really nasty stuff that you're going to be riding through will not catch on it. Also, and the venting isn't really heavy on these. These are very comfortable for riding in winter. You can put a little heavier sock on, so I recommend getting these a little bit bigger. The tongue has a neoprene. It's really hard to see on these, but the tongue is attached by neoprene that goes into the shoe, so if you get water, it's going to catch right here. It's not going to fully go into your shoe and make a mess of your socks and your feet and cause your feet discomfort. So the point isn't aeration with these shoes. The point is to be extremely comfortable. Now the nice thing is it's kind of hard to show you guys, but yeah, the inside, the tongue completely attaches to all this material on the inside, and this material right here is the cloth material, a light cloth material that they use to make a lot of the shoes, the outer portion of the shoes. So it is still very breathable. Okay, there isn't any heavy ventilation on here, but the idea is this is a little bit more absorbent. So if you're wearing a lighter riding sock, your feet aren't going to overheat, especially in the toe area and around the side. In the back, they're not so worried about it. It does have a very nice grippy type of material back here to prevent your foot from slipping out. And then there's tons of padding right here at the top of the heel area to prevent your foot, like I said, from slipping out. One other thing that they do as well is if you pull out the insole, this part is very hard. So this is designed to move less, and then this is a softer material. But what this is this portion right here is actually, there's cushion underneath it. So there's a little bit of memory foam. There's the padded area, and then there's some memory foam attached to this plastic piece, and that allows for where your feet normally get kind of sore. It allows for some more cushioning area in there, and the insole is a substantial insole. It's more something like you'd buy Dr. Scholl's. You do have a lot of nice venting in here as well. Even though you don't have huge venting in here, you just have a little bit of venting from where the cleats are. You do have a very nice heavy insole, and as you can see, it also has arch support. So this strap isn't to provide arch support, it's just to kind of keep your foot locked in, as well as to keep, as you'll see here, when you tie the shoes up, I'm not going to put them on my feet, but this is kind of the last thing I'll go over with the shoes. When you tie the shoes up, you put them under here, like so. You put the straps, you take the strap over. I'm trying to do this behind the camera, folks, so I apologize. You just put it through like so, and then you Velcro it, okay? And you can make it as tight as you want. The Velcro isn't very far. The point isn't for this to be pulled extremely tight. Here, you do have some play in the Velcro to pull a little bit tighter than normal. But it goes like this. And then the tongue, I'll show you on the tongue is extremely thick. And if you can see, there's all these holes in the tongue. So it's kind of like a memory foam that has some holes punched in it. Large holes, extremely large diameter holes. And you have this nice this is kind of leatherette material at the top for the tongue, where you'd have a lot of pressure on the curve of your foot coming up. So that makes it soft for you. The rest of this is extremely soft because you don't want the laces to be pushing down on your foot too hard. But it's very vented up in here. So you have this memory foam, you have these large holes, and then you have this mesh material. So the top of the foot is where you get most of your venting and where your foot breathes, because that's where you're going to get the sweatiest when you're doing downhill. Okay, so or enduro for that matter. So absolutely love these. I've ridden them. The last big ride I did with these shoes, I was out for 8 hours with them. Now, after about 8 hours, the bottoms of your feet start to hurt, no matter who you are. Okay, so and I'm older, so my toes and stuff, and not so much my toes. I wasn't having any problems with my toes, so it wasn't like the shoe was too tight and my toes were curling up on me, and I was getting problems in my toes. But this whole area where you're pushing down in the balls of your feet, it gets uncomfortable after 8 hours in the saddle and riding your mountain bike around, or any bike for that matter. Even with a road bike, I get that issue. The nice thing is with a shoe like this, you can unclip and you can put your foot a little farther forward on the pedal, and since you have a large platform clip-in pedal, I could push down with the center of the shoe. I don't have to stay clipped in. I can move my feet around a little bit. I can unclip and still pedal and ride, especially if I get on some flat roads or maybe some fire roads or something like that. It does provide a little bit more of comfort being able to change your feet position on the bike. Okay, so another thing I recommend, and 510 has even said too, that if you have a slightly different shaped foot and you're getting some foot pain, get a custom orthotic insole. And the nice thing is with these, it's very easy to put unlike road bike shoes and a lot of other cycling shoes on the market where you have to use the insole that comes with them, you can get a custom orthotic pretty easily without spending a lot of money. You can just pretty much almost buy a Dr. Scholl's or some gel insert that will make this shoe extremely comfortable. Now, if you're going to do that, like I said, recommend going maybe possibly a size up. I wear size 11.5, and I can wear an 11 in my road cycling shoes, which is normally what I ride, so I got the 11.5. I could have gone with a 12, but it just felt a little too much for me, and I ride with very thin shoes or socks. I never wear heavy socks when I'm riding on, even with the mountain bike. I just don't feel comfortable riding with them. If it gets cold, I'll wear an overshoe. I'm not worried about it. So that's it. Kind of as an overview of the 510 shoe. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, you can ask them in the description below. Like I said, this has been the Hellcat Pro model. Go to the 510 website. Like I said, I'll have a link in the description below, so you guys go to the website. You can look them up, kind of see and get an idea of what they're like. If you get to a bike shop that has them, I recommend you try them. Absolutely awesome shoe. Well worth it. Like I said, it's something that'll last you quite a long time. They're made not to tear apart. They're made that you can, I don't want to say wear these for a lifetime, but you probably get a good 5-6 years out of them before having to replace them. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Give us a thumbs up if you did. Make sure you comment in the comment section below. Always like to hear those. You know, great discussion. Always click up here to subscribe to the channel. That way you can get information about other videos as they come out. And if you want to see another mountain biking video, you can click up here in the corner, and we got another review for you up there. As always, keep riding.